Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unravel the confusing world of business reports. And I've got a doozy for you today because sometimes it feels like companies are just giving away stock for free, but is that a good thing or a bad thing? Let's find out. All right, so Rosa Holdings Corp has dropped a new report, and it's a classic Form 8K, which means they're reporting some important stuff that just happened. We're going to break down exactly what went down and what it might mean for the company and its investors. This 8K is telling us a couple of key things. First up, they've issued a bunch of new shares, unregistered shares to be precise. This basically means they're giving out stock to their directors, officers, employees, and even some consultants. They're also giving shares to a legal counsel for services rendered. Now, why would they do this? Well, it's all under their second amended and restated Rosa Holdings 2022 equity incentive plan. It sounds fancy, right? But essentially, it's a way for the company to give out stock options or actual stock to incentivize and reward people who work for them or provide valuable service. This is common practice in many companies, especially those that might not have a ton of cash on hand to pay everyone big salaries. They mentioned that these shares were issued without registering them with the Securities and Exchange Commission. This is allowed under certain conditions, like when the shares are sold directly to a select group of people and not offered to the public. This is often done because the registration process can be expensive and time-consuming. Then we get into something that sounds a bit like shuffling the deck chairs, but it actually has some weight. It's about their equity incentive plan, the second amended and restated 2022 equity incentive plan. We saw it mentioned earlier, but now we're diving deeper into the specifics. So on July 9th last year, the compensation committee, the board of directors, and even the shareholders who hold most of the voting power all gave the thumbs up to this updated plan. They even sent out information to shareholders about it. This new plan completely replaces the old one that was put in place almost a year before. This means they're making some pretty significant changes to how they hand out stock and options. The big news here is the number of shares available under the plan has gone up significantly. It jumped from about 6,000 shares to over 4,000 shares. That's more than double, folks. This is a pretty big increase, and the reason they give is to make sure there are enough shares for future grants. This could signal that they expect to expand their team or reward their existing team more generously. They also changed the definition of consultant to be broader, which could mean they're going to be using more external advisors or specialized services and paying them with stock. This is a strategic move to bring in expertise without necessarily spending a lot of cash up front. And finally, the report lists the exhibits attached to it, which are basically the supporting documents, including the actual text of the second amended and restated 2022 equity incentive plan itself. The report is signed by Joseph Rosa, the Chief Executive Officer, and here's the date, August 15th, 2025. Now let's look at the bigger picture here. Rosa Holdings is a company that's clearly trying to manage its resources carefully by using stock as a form of compensation. This is a common strategy, especially in growth companies or those that are still building their infrastructure and client base. The significant increase in the number of shares available for grants under the equity plan is a major takeaway. This indicates a forward-looking approach to employee and consultant compensation, and potentially a strategy to attract and retain talent by offering equity as a significant part of their reward package. It also suggests that the company anticipates needing more people to execute its growth plans, or that it wants to provide more substantial incentives to its key personnel. However, increasing the number of shares available for grants can also lead to dilution for existing shareholders. If a lot of new shares are issued and the company's value doesn't grow, proportionally the ownership stake of current shareholders can be reduced. It's a balancing act the company needs to manage by ensuring the growth and success generated by these incentivized employees outpaces the dilution effect. The fact that they're using unregistered shares under Section 4 Ac E2 is standard for these types of transactions. It avoids the costly and time-consuming registration process, but it also means these shares might not be immediately liquid or freely traded by the recipients without further steps. So what's my take on this filing? Well, the Rosa Holdings is actively using equity to drive its business and incentivize its people. It's a strategic choice that can be very effective when managed well. However, shareholders should keep an eye on how these new shares translate into actual business growth and shareholder value. The expansion of the equity plan is a signal of intent, but the ultimate success will depend on the company's execution and its ability to grow its business in a way that compensates for the increased share count. The company's direction appears to be focused on growth and leveraging talent through equity incentives. While this can be a powerful motivator and a smart way to conserve cash, it also comes with the risk of dilution for existing shareholders. The key will be whether the company can generate enough economic growth and value creation to offset the expanding share base. Overall, this report shows a company in active management mode, strategically using its equity to build its team and reward contributions. It's a sign of a company that's looking to the future, but as always with these kinds of reports, it's crucial to watch the follow through. Alright, that's our breakdown of Rosa Holdings Corp's latest filing. What's your take on these equity plan changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.